Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're back doing Swiss Battle for Zendikar drafts. What do we got? March from the Tomb is the rare. Let me open up the preview pane. Travis always does that, and I always forget. So why don't I just do it now? See if this helps at all. Actually, where does he... Does this even help? Yeah, I guess it's marginally bigger. I guess at this point it's pretty late. You should already know what these cards do anyway, and I typically zoom in. But I'm probably just going to take Stasis Snare here. It's a great removal spell. Instant speed, deals with anything. I like it more than Touch of the Void. And nothing else too crazy good in here. I like Scythe Leopard. Doesn't feel like a good first pick, though. Chandler's fine. Territorial Bailout, Stone Fury. Yeah, nothing really too exciting beyond the Stasis Snare. I don't think starting off with a March from the Tomb is the best idea. So, Snare it is. Alright. Follow-up pick. We've got, on color, Ghostly Sentinel, Undo Rising. Ghostly Sentinel, a great card for Blue-White Flyers lists, and Undo Rising is a fine card. I like it. There's certainly in aggressive decks, I think it's pretty fantastic. There's a Benthic Infiltrator. Not the best follow-up pick to a Stasis Snare. I don't think the blue-white ingest-themed deck is the best idea, although Benthic Infiltrator is a great card anyway. Actually, I guess even in blue-white, I think there may be an argument that Benthic Infiltrator is better than Ghostly Sentinel. Even though Sentinel's on theme more with a blue-white flyer deck, Benthic Infiltrator is just such a great card that regardless of the ingest, just having a 1/4 unblockable guy blocks well. It can push damage through. It certainly seems like possibly the strongest card in here. I could just follow up with Undo Rising. Undo Rising is very good even in blue-white. I mean, I want to play Stasis Snare. I guess we'll take Undo Rising. I could still end up in red too. Outnumber is good. I like Undo Rising. I think might have felt a little bit too early to take it, but I don't think it's a huge deal. All right, and another thing about Undo Rising, it's actually very good in the life gain deck. So maybe I could even move more towards black. There is a Carrier Thrall and Myers Malice. Probably just want the Courier Griffin. This keeps me open. Like, if I take the Griffin here, I actually like how this is shaping up. This means I could move into black-white life gain, or I could move into... I feel like this preview pane's doing nothing, by the way. Maybe you guys like that more, I don't know. But let's, I think we're taking Courier Griffin. It moves me into either black-white life gain deck or blue-white flyer, both of which I like. So let's just stay on color for now. Both of those options seem good. Bone Splinters is fine. Might just want the Evolving Wilds here. There is a Tandem Tactics, which I think probably a little bit less exciting than Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds, you always play it, and you're happy when you do, and you have Landfall as well. Yeah, I think we're just going to take Evolving Wilds here. Fine with that. Still trying to figure out exactly where we are. I could take Pilgrim's Eye. Kind of interesting. We're getting these fixing cards and currently have no need for fixing, but that doesn't mean we're not going to figure our deck out soon enough. I do think Blighted Cataract's good too, but Pilgrim's Eye is just a really nice card. Dig up a land. Fix. Gives you an evasive guy. Seems good to me. Interacts with colorless effects, I guess. Well, there's Turn Against. Might just want the Castigator. I like... Castigator's pretty much always playable when you're in white. And we definitely want to force our way in white here. There's Beastmaster, which is pretty great. Maybe I could also move towards green-white allies. But I think taking Castigator's fine. It keeps us open still. And like I said, we can either be blue-white flyers or black-white life gain still pretty easily. Nightwatch is fine, but I just think Castigator... I just think staying on color for now is a good idea. Okay. Interesting. Ghostly Sentinel. I might just want it here. That moves me a little bit closer to the blue-white flyer. Otherwise, Cliffside Lookout is fine. Incubator Drone in blue, which is good. I think we'll take the Sentinel, though. Okay. Beastmaster, still an option. Certainly a stronger card than Wavewing Elemental. I mean, this slate of a Beastmaster, maybe we just take it. You can splash a Beastmaster too, I imagine. Probably not the worst splash I've ever seen. Veldar Cub versus Territorial Baloth. Well, can take the Baloth, I guess. Cub's typically not a horribly exciting card, whereas Baloth is a pretty good beat stick. All right, not necessarily marrying green yet. We're just seeing, as per usual, really powerful green cards late. Sharpshooter, which is an ally. Not a great card, though. Retreat, Earthen Arms, Swell of Growth. I don't like Swell of Growth that much. Even though Kitesail Scout flies, I don't really like the card. Could actually just take the Earthen Arms here. I might play it. It's good on a flyer. It's good on a Ghostly Sentinel. 5/5 Vigilance flying would be pretty nice. We'll see. I mean, you can awaken it. I don't think it's as horrible as I think people originally thought. Myers Mouse is pretty good. Probably want the Marasa Ranger, though. Landfall, little landfall theme. This is actually kind of weird. Typically, green-white's not like a landfall deck. It's more of a... There is also Angelic Gift, I guess, too. But I want the Marasa Ranger. I haven't gotten a chance to play this card yet, and I think it's interesting, to say the least. None of these cards really matter. Take the black card just in case the black-white deck. I'll just cut the... All right, well, I guess I don't actually like Demon's Grasp all that much, and I think there's a pretty good chance we're just going to slam a Sandstone Bridge in our landfall deck, so we'll take it. All right, sure. Okay, interesting pack one. Cut white for a while, kind of waxing and waning between black-white life gain and blue-white flyers. Ooh, I like Part the Water Veil, but anything else of substance in here? Yeah, Resolute Blade Master. Could splash it. We have Evolving Wilds. We have Pilgrim's Eye. We have allies. We have Beastmaster. We have... This is not an ally. We have Castigator. I guess we don't have that many allies, but could find some more. And Blade Master seems like the strongest card. Could just take the Gnarlid. We're not necessarily in green, even though we did end up picking 4 green cards. I think Blade Master is very strong. Certainly a worthwhile ally. I think we probably can make Naya work. Gnarlid is a nice 2-drop, but Blade Master is certainly stronger. We'll try out the Blade Master. We still could make it work. Ooh, Warcaller? Jeez. And another Gnarlid. Well, I mean, obviously taking Warcaller here. Lithomancer's Focus, good as well, but Warcaller all day. So good. People just despise green, and then you end up taking and playing cards that are absurd, like Warcaller, and I guess Beastmaster's not absurd, but it's a great card. I've very much won a lot of games on the back of Beastmaster. Could take the Eyeless Watcher here. There's also Retreat to Kazandu. You know, I never get to play Retreat to Kazandu, and I think it's actually a pretty reasonable card. Eyeless Watcher, not exactly on theme with this deck, but it does have good interactions with Warcaller and Beastmaster. Good turn progression. Watcher into Warcaller into Beastmaster. That would be pretty insane. Don't have a lot of need for ramp at the moment, but Watcher might just be more versatile and better for us than Retreat. All right, let's take the Watcher. I've done green-white tokens lists before, and I think they're fine. Another Watcher, Oron Reef Invoker, Tandem Tactics. All considerations at least. Also Fertile Thicket for fixing for the Blade Master, which we don't need to play. And we already have Evolving Wilds and Pilgrim's Eye. I think Blade Master's fine as a splash still. All right, I mean, I'm okay taking the Watcher, I guess. I think Invoker's good too. We could use a little bit more early game, but Watcher, I guess, technically just seems pretty good in this deck right now. Bit of a miss here. No processing going on, although it's kind of cool that you can stasis snare something and then put that card into their graveyard so they can't even get their thing back. I actually kind of like that, but I'd probably rather just have a second Baloth, I guess. It's another 5-drop, I guess, but it's a good card. I think we'll take it. A little bit awkward, I guess. I mean, I could take Void Attendant. It just doesn't seem likely that we're going to be able to exile anything else. Unnatural Aggression, I guess, works with it, but maybe I don't need a second Baloth. All right, we'll take the Attendant just to get a. I don't think it's that good in this deck, though. Lifespring Druid seems fine. Way to ramp. We have quite a few 5-drops, and we have a Blade Master that I wouldn't mind playing, so all right. Looks like we could make it work in here. Sure. Second Ondu Rising, Fortified Rampart, which doesn't really fit on theme with it, and Unnatural Aggression, which does actually work with Void Attendant. We could do that. I don't think this is a great deck for Unnatural Aggression. A second Ondu Rising seems a bit awkward. Not horrible, but not really necessary either. I guess we could take Unnatural Aggression. We're a little bit removal light. We pretty much just have a Stasis Snare. Okay, I'll take the removal spell. I don't think it's a great removal spell, especially based on what we already have, but could work. A third Baloth? Well, I didn't take the second one, so it's probably okay. I don't think we're splashing anything. Let's just take the Baloth. It's fine. All right, Fertile Thicket versus Giant Mantis. Guess we potentially could ramp to Devastator, but I don't think it's necessary. Let's take the Fertile Thicket. I think there's a good chance we're going to make Blade Master work in this deck. Probably have the goods for it. And I think Fertile Thicket's actually a fine card. Giant Mantis is more of a sideboard card anyway. Alright, I guess I can take Devastator now. I don't think we're super likely to play it, but it's certainly absurd with Blade Master. 8-9 Trample, Double Strike. Could be good. Seek the Wilds, sure. We'll cut the green card, I guess. Take a Wavewing Elemental. Interesting. So 2 cards from a deck. We've got some ramp going on. Guess we'll take the, well, yeah, we'll take Looming Spire. I think it's more playable than Mindbreaker for most decks. None of these cards matter. Okay. So, not a hyper exciting deck at the moment. Kind of, I mean, it's not like our deck's bad though. We do have Blade Master, Warcaller, Beastmaster, so we have like powerhouse allies. We don't have a ton of allies besides that though. Pretty much just the Castigator, and that's it. So, I would like some more allies. I'd like to lower the curve of the deck too, despite the fact that we have the ramp. I think Eyeless Watchers and Lifespring Druid look really good for that reason. Canopy Vista, well, it does fix. Is it worth anything? Probably not, but these drafts are expensive, so I don't mind getting on-color fixing that also might be worth a ticket or two. It's only worth a ticket. Not that much. I might just want Grove Tinder Druid then, probably. If it's only worth a ticket, I don't really care. There's Reproach, which is good too, but Grove Tinder Druid seems like exactly what this deck wants. Creates allies. It is an ally, or creates more guys, which work amazingly. Yeah, I mean, Grove Tinder Druid seems like perfect for this deck. It interacts with our other allies, and it makes more guys to pump for our ally cards. It just, I mean, Gideon's Reproach is insane too. There's a chance Grove Tinder Druid's wheels, but it just seems too good for our deck to pass up here, I think. Ooh, Entangler, another ally. Stalwart, which is an ally as well. Lookout's an ally. All sorts of allies. See, the problem is we already have so many 5-drops. I'm not exactly wanting to play Entangler, but I think Entangler might be the pick. There's also Encircling Fissure, which is a very good card. I like Encircling Fissure. I kind of want some more allies. Could be that we just end up cutting like the Baloths for more 5-drop allies instead. Probably wheel Unnatural Aggression or Lookout. Stalwart, maybe in Fissure. We'll see. But I'm not sure how likely we are to wheel the Entangler. I think the card's actually pretty good too. Okay. Lithomancer's Focus. Another Coastal Discovery, which is really good. I think we're taking the Focus. Kind of removal and trick light, so I don't mind. Probably cut the Seek the Wilds. Seems unnecessary. I'd like to cut Devastator too. I just typically don't like to play the card in general. Still in need of more early game stuff. Okay, I might just want the Unified Front here. I actually think it fits the deck kind of nicely. There's a good chance that we can converge. And on top of that, it just creates allies. So it has interactions with Grove Tinder Druid and Warcaller and Beastmaster and even Entangler and Blade Master as well. So a lot of positive interaction for our deck and a very powerful card in general. There's also Natural Connection, which fixes, but I don't think it's absolutely necessary. At this point, between Pilgrim's Eye, Fertile Thicket, and Evolving Wilds, our fixing's not the worst. And Lifespring Druid, for that matter. Yeah, our fixing's actually pretty good. We'll take Unified Front. Like I said, I think it's just good for an ally-themed deck such as ours. Okay, now it's like Sheer Drop versus Royal's Retribution. I kind of prefer the Sheer Drop. I think Retribution's probably a better card. I could take the McKindy Patrol too. It is an ally, and it's cheap, but we're a little bit creature-heavy removal light at the moment, which makes me slightly more inclined to just want the Sheer Drop, get a little removal. May probably just cut Earthen Arms. Probably. Yeah, Sheer Drop removal, cheaper removal at that. I do think McKindy Patrol is good too, but I think Sheer Drop just in general is better. We don't look hyper aggressive either. We look like a deck that just wins kind of late, mid to late. Could take Chasm Guide. It is an ally. It's very cool with our other allies. Otherwise, we can take the Natural Connection for fixing and jumping to 5 mana, which isn't bad. We kind of already have quite a few 4-drops. I do think Chasm Guide is probably more fun, but I think Natural Connection just fits this deck better. Although, if I'm taking Natural Connection, I'm probably cutting a Territorial Baloth. Right? Likely. Kind of rocking 18 creatures if you include Ondu Rising and Sheer Drop. Natural Connection versus Chasm Guide. Chasm Guide, because it's an ally, might be pretty good. I think we'll take the Chasm Guide. It's a lot of 4-drops, I admit, but something about it seems like could be good for us. Courier Griffin versus Greathorn. I almost think Griffin's better, despite the fact that we have some cards that work well with landfall. I might not play either, but I could run the Griffin over the Marasa Ranger. Or actually, more likely, how about we cut the Baloths? So that way we have less 5-drops, slightly lower the curve of the deck. Start a little bit quicker. Run the Griffin here. Otherwise, we could take Smite. Get some more removal. Maybe Smite's actually better. You know what? With all the creatures we have, I'm actually going to take the Smite. Change my mind. We actually have a lot of creatures. We have... I could take a second on Natural Aggression now. I don't think that's horrible. I don't think the card's great, but even though it only pretty much has benefit with Void Attendant, it is in fact a removal spell. And we have some big bodies in this deck. I guess we don't have a ton of big bodies, though. I probably have enough removal without it. But even like Hill Giants are probably fine with Unnatural Aggression. I could take a second Sandstone Bridge. It's not looking insane in this deck, though. We look like we just want to... I mean, it's a fine card. It just doesn't look exactly like what our deck wants. I guess we'll take a second Unnatural Aggression. I don't even know if we're going to play it, though. Inspired Charge does have positive interaction with Eyeless Watchers and Unified Front. Otherwise, Infused with the Elements is pretty cool, too. I feel like Inspired Charge probably is better and possibly good enough to run. I might need the Cub, though. Lower the curve. Like, our curve is... We're top-heavy. We definitely are a top-heavy deck at the moment. I might just need cheap stuff to do. I'm just not doing enough cheap stuff in this deck. All right. We'll take it. I think at this point, just making sure we're doing stuff early is kind of key. Like, Natural Connection actually seems pretty good. Cliffside Lookout is good, too, though. It's not great in this style of deck, but it is an ally, which thematically works well with our powerhouse allies. This jumps us from 3 to 5, but our ramp is actually kind of fine already. We're not like a super expensive deck. It does fix for us, which is nice. I'm going to take the Lookout, though. I think at this point, we'll take the Pathway Arrows for sideboard. I think at this point, our deck is just... Ooh, Boiling Earth's actually a fine sideboard card. I already have 2 Unnatural Aggressions, right? So I don't need a third. Well, I'm not even playing the second one. Boiling Earth is actually just a legitimately good sideboard card, and we're already splashing for red anyway. Swarm Surge is a scary card to deal with. All right, so I'm actually okay with this. We have to make a couple cuts, but I think we'll be able to make that happen without too many problems. I basically want to do an ally count, see where we're at with allies, and sort of figure out the deck from there. Sort by color. Okay, so ally, that's 1, 2, this creates allies 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 allies is pretty good, actually. So I prefer to not cut ally cards. We can figure out what can get cut. Might be the Void Attendant, just because it's essentially a 3-mana 2/3 in our deck. I already said we don't have a ton going on early, which is true, but I don't really need a 3-mana 2/3, I don't think. It just is fairly pretty unexciting card. I actually think Ondu Rising is very important for our deck. It's a good way where if we're getting beat down early, it's a good way to come back. I think we just straight up want Cub because we're not doing a ton early, so it seems important, which is fine. This deck actually seems just fine. It's like I said, it's not terribly exciting, but we got some powerhouse allies. We have a lot of 4-drops. I would like to cut some. I think Void Attendant's just going to get the boot. Doesn't seem necessary in this deck. Could actually cut the Unnatural Aggression. Our removal would pretty much be Combat Trick, Snare, Smite, Sheer Drop. That's not bad. Unnatural Aggression is essentially only good with maybe Courier Griffin, Ranger, Druid, Sentinel, Beastmaster. We might not actually have enough goodies for Unnatural Aggression. I might just be okay cutting it. It's certainly not like we're playing it on turn 3, you know? So it does seem like we're top heavy, I admit, but we're running 18 lands plus 2 spells that find us lands at 3. I think this could work. Also Sheer Drop can absolutely be played at 3, and I have no problem. We don't have to awaken Sheer Drop. Totally unnecessary. Bit top heavy of a deck, but I think this actually is going to work. And we're not hyper color intensive either. We have 1 double green, 1 double white, and that's it. So we probably can get away with between... If we run... We're not going to run Looming Spires. I don't love it. I think we definitely are taking Evolving Wilds. Obviously playing Evolving Wilds and Fertile Thicket, and... I'm actually not sure about the Sandstone Bridge. It doesn't strike me as a deck that wants Sandstone Bridge. I'd rather have... Yeah, I think I'm actually just not going to run Sandstone Bridge. If we were more aggressive, I'd be much more on board with it. I probably could play Sandstone Bridge, I guess. And it probably wouldn't cause that many problems. But when you've got this kind of like mid to top heavy deck, this style of kind of mid to top heavy deck, I think it's probably in our best interest to just make sure that we're hitting our untapped lands early. I certainly think Sandstone Bridge could be put in this deck. It just doesn't seem like a deck that really needs it, right? We're not going to win because of Sandstone Bridge, I think. I think we're going to win because we've got these extremely powerful ally cards and allies that interact very positively with them. 2 removal spells at 3, I think, helps this deck a lot, too. All right, well, fairly top-heavy, but I think this is fine. So let's look at color again. Mostly white, then green. and then a couple red. So I think our plan is this would be 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to get red for our 2. And actually, let's count Unified Front as wanting red too. I think that's not out of the realm of that's like a line of thinking. I think that's a good idea. So it's really like 2, 3, 4, 5 ways to get red. We could probably even up that and not have it be a huge deal. Like probably even move it up to 6. This way, so this is 7 green, 9 white, 6 red. Actually, we might want like 8 green, 8 white, 8 green, 8 white, 6 red. And we're not throwing in the Lifespring Druid and Pilgrim's Eye. Like Pilgrim's Eye fixes for these colors too. I think this is fine actually. I think this is perfectly acceptable. I'm trying to think if Chasm Guide is bad in this deck. I think it's fine. I mean, besides the fact that it boosts our allies, making like Beastmaster or even Warcaller have haste is pretty beneficial. Or even like playing a non-ally and then playing like a Cliffside Lookout to give them all haste. It's probably pretty rare that would happen, but I think this is totally acceptable. Yeah. All right. I'm on board. Fine deck. Totally acceptable. Decent sideboard options. A little bit top heavy, like I said, but I think this should work. Interesting deck, to say the least. All right, here's how we'll run it. See how we do. We'll see you round 1. Wait, what am I missing? I'm missing a land. Well, I jumped the gun on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8. Well, let's add another plains then. They agree. All right, well, that's fine. So now our mana base is even better. We have 8 green, 9 white, and sort of pseudo 6 red. All right, I'm on board. Here's the deck. We'll see you round 1.